The weight is a dead thing. Not the weight of Kale, the man they carry, but the weight of his failure. It grinds into the shoulders of Horton Gor, settling deep in their bones with every lurching step through the sucking mud of the riverbank. Kale's leg is a ruin of splintered bone and torn sinew, wrapped crudely in hide that does nothing to stop the blood from painting a dark trail behind them. The leg hangs at an angle that nature never intended, a gruesome pendulum marking the tempo of their retreat. He is silent, his head lolling, his breath a shallow rasp against the wind. The spear that did this, a masterpiece of lithic technology with its razor-minor sharp flint point, lies shattered somewhere back in the gorse, a testament to a hunt gone catastrophically wrong. They do not look back. The thing that broke the spear, and the man, is still out there. They arrive at the rock shelter as the bruised purple dust bleeds across the sky. The clan, a small knot of 7 others, huddled in the overhang's lee, falls silent. The children stop their play, their wide eyes fixing on the mangled limb. Buna, the old woman whose face is a map of 1,000 winters, pushes forward. She does not waste breath on questions. She tears away the bloody hide with practiced hands, her grunt a mixture of diagnosis and disgust. The wound is deep, a ragged furrow ploughed by a horn thick as a man's arm. The bone is not merely broken, it is shattered. She packs the gash with saganum moss, a poultice of chewed leaves, and binds it tight with fresh sinew. Her movements are slow, deliberate ritual against the inevitable rot. Kale's groan is the only sound, a low animal noise that speaks of a pain beyond endurance. This is the brutal calculus of prehistoric life. The provider, the spear Midas thrower whose strength fed them all, is now just another mouth, a liability. The fire is small tonight, a fist of warmth against a fist of cold. The last of the dried by sun meat is passed around, each piece savored, chewed to a tasteless pulp. There is no talk. There is only the sound of the wind, the crackle of the flames, and the shared, unspoken fear. Gor stares at Kale, who lies shivering by the fire, and then his gaze shifts to his own calloused hands. Those hands must now do the work of 4. The challenge they face is etched into the very fabric of hominid history. How do early humans endure when their strongest link is broken? Kale catches the look. He sees not pity, but calculation, the heavy brow, the tense jaw. He is no longer the leader of the hunt. He is a stone around the neck of his clan, dragging them down into the cold, dark water of starvation. The emotional turning point is not a cry of anguish, but a silent, gut-minus wrenching understanding. He is a ghost already. The enemy has a name, whispered only in gestures, the Greyhorn, an old, bull-woolly rhinoceros, a titan of the mammoth steppe. This is the kind of Pleistocene megafauna that carves its territory not in the soil, but in the memory of those who survive its passage. It is scarred, ill-tempered, and it knows their scent. They had tracked it for 2 days, seeking the massive prize of its meat and hide. Instead, it had hunted them. It had charged from a thicket of birch, a mountain of fury and hair. And Kale, in a moment of misplaced bravery, had stood his ground. Now, a sliver of his flint spearhead is embedded in the beast's shoulder, a minor annoyance for the rider, a death sentence for the clan. The Greyhorn is still out there, its rage stoked, its wound a burning coal of vengeance. They can hear it sometimes in the deep of the night, a rumbling cough that travels on the wind, a promise of violence yet to come. Days bleed into a grey, hungry glow. The moss in Kale's wound is black with rot, and the smell of his infection hangs heavy in the shelter, a foul miasma of their collective failure. The children's bellies are distended, their cries weak. The hunters, Gor and the younger horde, return with nothing but a few scrawny ground squirrels, a bitter joke against the gnawing emptiness. They are ghosts something a dying land, their world shrinking to the size of their hunger. The hard choice presents itself not in a council of words, but in a series of silent, interlocking gazes. Una, the matriarch, touches Gor's eye. She lifts the last, pathetic strip of dried meat, holds it for a moment, and then casts it into the fire. It vanishes in a hiss of greasy smoke. The offering is averted. They will not die slowly, picking at scraps. They will face the beast that broke them, or they will be broken completely. It is a decision rooted deep in the pragmatic brutality that defines human evolution. Gio leads them at dawn. He does not take them onto the open steppe, but into the folds of the land, to a place of shadow and stone. It is a narrow ravine, a natural funnel carved by ancient water, its walls too steep for a beast to climb. The greyhound uses this path to move between its grazing grounds and its watering hole. Gio knows this not from a single observation, but from a lifetime of watching, of mapping the world in his mind. This is the essence of foresight. The ability to see not just what is, but what will be. Here, they will make their stand. Here, they will dig a grave. The work is monumental, an act of sheer will against the unforgiving earth. They have no shovels, only the fire minus hardened points of thick branches and the scapulae of a long minus dead or rocks. The ground is a stubborn mesh of rock and root. For 3 days, they clan toils. The steady thwack of stone on stone is the only music, the patient rhythm of their Mousterian industry as they sharpen stakes. This is not a hunt, it is an act of engineering. The apex of cooperative hunting turned towards construction. Every member has a purpose. Gio and Horde pry at the largest stones, their muscles screaming in protest. The women and older children haul away baskets of dirt, their hands raw and bleeding. Even the smallest child has a task, gathering thin branches and broad leaves to weave the camouflage that will hide their work. They are a single organism, driven by a single purpose. At night, they collapse in their shelter, too exhausted even for the fire, and listen to the distant, rumbling cough of the rhino, a sound that fuels their fear and hardens their resolve. The primal terror of that sound, of the titan that wanders the dark, is the furnace in which their plan is forged. They are not heroes defying a monster. They are desperate ancient humans building a machine to kill a force of nature. On the 4th day, it is done. They put twice the height of a man and 4 times his length. Gapes in the center of the ravine. Its bottom is a forest of sharpened, fire minus hardened stakes pointing at the sky. They cover it with a fragile lattice of branches and a blanket of leaves and turf, restoring the illusion of solid ground. The trap is invisible. It is perfect. It is a silent, patient mouth, waiting to feed. The weight is a cold stone in the gut. They lie flat on the ravine's high ridges, fingers gripping the shafts of their spears, knuckles white. The wind is a low moan, carrying the scent of dust and damp earth. There is no sound from the beast. For a terrifying moment, they believe it has turned back, that their monumental effort was for nothing. Then, the ground shivers. A faint, rhythmic tremor that grows from a whisper in the soles of their feet to a deep, drumming heartbeat in their chests. It is coming. Gio gives a sharp, single nod. This is the moment where the thin veneer of planning gives way to the raw chaos of instinct. Horde, the younger hunter, scrambles down the rock face, light and quick as a marten. He stands at the mouth of the ravine, a solitary, fragile figure against the coming storm. He is the bait, a gesture of defiance to summon the avalanche. The grey horn appears, a walking mountain of matted fur and ancient rage. It stops, sniffing the air, its small, malevolent eyes fixing on Horde. The splinter of K-Ness spear is still visible in its shoulder, a dog speck of their history embedded in its flesh. Horde lets out a sharp cry and hurls a rock that clatters uselessly against the rhino's massive head. It is enough, with a deafening snort that rips through the air. The beast charges. The earth pounds under its gait. Horde does not run. He waits until the last possible second, until he can smell the sweat and fury of the animal. Then he pivots and scrambles back up the rock wall, his fingers finding holes with desperate speed. The rhino, its world narrowed to the singular focus of its vengeance, thunders past him, directly over the concealed pit. The world breaks. A crack of splintering timber. A roar of surprise that turns into a shriek of pain as the beast plummets. It does not fall cleanly. It crushes through the lattice. Its immense weight driving the sharpened stakes deep into its belly and chest. The sound is a wet, brittle percussion of wood-piercing heightened muscle, destined to explode upwards. The rhino is not dead. It is impaled, thrashing in a frenzy of agony. Its roars echoing off the ravine walls, turning the narrow space into a crucible of sound and fury. From the ridges, the hunters rise. They use the atlet, the ancient force multiplier, to launch their spears. The spear minus thrower adds a deadly velocity, allowing them to strike from a distance, the shafts oozing down to punch through the thick hide. Each hit is met with a new eruption of violence from the pit. The beast is dying, but it is taking the earth with it. Slowly, the roars subside to agonized groans, the thrashing to shuddering twitches. Goo, his face a mask of grim focus, descends cautiously. The animal must be finished. Its throat cut to hasten the end and begin the life-saving work of butchery. As he nears the edge of the pit, spear held low, the rhino gives one last titanic shudder in a final, explosive spasm of dying muscle. Its head whips sideways. The great horn, slick with blood, catches Gor in the chest. Not piercing but crushing, flinging him like a doll against the rock wall. The sound is a sickening, final crit. And then, silence. Vapor sound. Ringing silence broken only by the wind. The grey horn is dead, and so is Gor. The clan has its meat, its survival for the winter. But the architect of that survival lies broken at the foot of his masterpiece. A tragic, silent testament to the unpayable cost of every victory in the deep annals of prehistory. They have won. The price is simply another empty space by the fire. Another voice lost to the wind. They will not leave Gor to the hyenas. Under Runner's direction, they carry his body to the shelter. Using the sharpest flint blades, they prepare him, folding his limbs tight against his body. They rub his skin with handfuls of red ochre, a ritual of blood and death, a color for the living given to the dead. This act, witnessed by silent archaeology 100,000 years later, is not just about grief. It is about memory. It is the beginning of a story that will be grunted and gestured around the fire for a generation. A lesson in foresight, courage, and the bitter irony of fate. This is how human ancestors built the world, not with grand monuments, but with the quiet, devastating accumulation of such stories. The intelligence to devise the trap, the cooperation to build it, the altruism to spring it, and the symbolic thought to mourn its cost. These are not separate skills. They are a single, complex tapestry of survival, that intricate weave of logic, community, and carries the true legacy of our lineage, a pattern of behavior that allowed a fragile hominid to endure an epic of giants. How many such victories, each paid for in blood and bone, form the unseen foundation of the world we now command. The past is a bedrock, not a grave. It is the unseen map that guides our instincts. I am the chronicler, and I bear witness to the echoes in the stone. But not all threats roar in charge. The most patient killer of all was the cold, and it was beginning to advance.